You're live on News Today on the Joy News channel. We are live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 144, and free to air on your digital terrestrial television and across the globe at myjoyonline.com. Also, download the MyJoy Online app from the Play Store for Android or the App Store for iOS users to watch us live on the internet. My name is Daniel Dazi, and coming up, Coalition of CSOs Against Corruption wants Daniel Domelevo to drag governments to shrug as they accuse the presidency and the audit service of targeting the now retired Auditor General unfairly.
The hurriedly orchestrated queries and decisions taken by our Audit Service Board, acting in concert with the Office of the President, and the President's unilateral decision to forcibly retire Mr. Domelevo on the same day he returned to post from an equally false accumulated leave, confirms our belief that Mr. Domelevo has been unfairly targeted.
Also, Central Regional Coordinating Director assures affected families of the APAM drowning incident of government support. We have more. An 84-year-old woman appeals for help after rainstorm ravages her place of abode.
I can't do anything because I am disabled. My belongings are trapped in the room.
In business, taxes could be reviewed upwards to the 2021 budget to shore up revenue lost to the COVID-19 pandemic. All this and more coming up within the hour. Welcome. Now, in our first story, the Coalition of Civil Society Organizations Against Corruption have this afternoon accused the Presidency and the Audit Service Board of unfairly targeting retired Auditor General Daniel Domelevo. They want Mr. Domelevo to drag government to the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, SHRAJ. Mr. Domelevo, who was directed by the Presidency to take 167 days accumulated leave, has since been retired, as the Presidency insists records available indicate he's due for retirement. The CSOs Against Corruption have been speaking on this matter at a news conference. Now, a member of the group, Dr. Kojo Pomponi Asante, described the retired Auditor General as an exemplary leader who saved the nation millions of dollars.
Think about it. In any of your institutions, if one day your employer calls you and says, you have 2 dates on your records, we want to be sure which one, because we need to be clear that one is authentic and one is wrong. And you say, no, this is my date of birth, and I have evidence, to prove it, to support it. And your HR says, no, we have decided that we are going to give you this date of birth, even though you are saying that this is your date of birth. Almost like it's a straight liability. As soon as you put your date of birth there, you can't take it back. It's ridiculous. And the danger about these things is that it sets precedents. And we have to be careful about these things. So the manner in which this was handled was, completely inappropriate. So, based on the actions that have been taken, should the state believe that Mr. Domelevo was born on 1st June 1960 because the Audit Service Board chair had decided that this is the date that he prefers? Is that how dates of birth are determined in this country? The hurriedly orchestrated queries and decisions taken by our Audit Service Board, acting in concert with the Office of the President, and the President's unilateral decision to forcibly retire Mr. Domelevo on the same day he returned to post from an equally false accumulated leave, confirms our belief that Mr. Domelevo has been unfairly targeted. The coalition notes with regret that the Supreme Court is yet to determine 2 suits relating to the constitutionality of the Auditor General's false accumulated leave by the President, which was filed by Professor Kwaku Asare and 9 CSOs in July and October 2020, respectively. In part, this delay in hearing these time-sensitive cases have rendered some of the issues raised before the court moot and has allowed a grave breach of the Constitution to fester, at least in our estimation. So let me conclude. These two suits pending before the Supreme Court go beyond the Auditor General, Dom Leveau, and the President's action. The suits border on the broader issue of whether or not a president could exercise administrative authority over independent constitutional bodies. Therefore, it is important for the Supreme Court to deal with these suits expeditiously to prevent any such action by a future president.
Now, board chair of the Special Prosecutor's Office and executive director of the Ghana Institute of Integrity, Linda Ofori Kwafo, had this to say.
I think the statement speaks for itself. It's so detailed, and everything we wanted to communicate to the world, we have. But then I just want us to watch the space as to who becomes the next Auditor General. It's a matter that is very important and dear to my heart. Reason being that we've worked with many Auditor Generals in the past. I'm not saying I'm 60 years. But then, because of the work that we do, we've worked with former Auditor Generals. And for us, Mr. Daniel W. stands tall. Actually, he stood tall because actually he's retired and serving his Thanksgiving service. We have worked with Auditor Generals, including the board chair himself. I remember we doing some work with him on trying to even get the LI of the Audit Service to be approved or passed by Parliament. And we were not successful even on that one. I said that on that tone. You're not supposed to reject that. So what it means is that we should be looking forward and be advocating as media persons and civil society organization members to get an Auditor General who has audacity like Daniel. If we don't, we are doomed.
Away from that story, the Central Region Coordinating Council is assuring bereaved families of the drowning incident at APAM that government would support them in this time of grief. Chief Director of the Coordinating Council, Kingsley Boahen, says the families would be supported in the mass burial of the 12 teenagers.
They need to come and pay a visit to the place because of the fact that it's actually turning to be a national issue. So we discussed with members of RISEC, and unfortunately the minister had to leave for an emergency call in Accra. But we decided to come and have a first-hand information of what is happening so that we can give her the needed report and so that we can actually send SOS message to the affected ministries for any action. So our mission is to have a first-hand knowledge of what is happening on the ground so that we can actually do a report on the incident which happened here yesterday.
Meanwhile, police continues the search for 8 more persons believed to have also drowned from last Sunday's incident.
The news of the drowning was such that the APAM townfolk had never seen before. 12 teenagers perished when they went swimming in the APAM beach on Sunday. 14-year-old Christopher Wizi was one of the 12 people police have confirmed drowned in the sea. Mother of Christopher, Faustina Emisa, narrates how his son left the house that fateful day.
I mean, down with the Namaka, Namakre. It's a milk red Wamba, Anna, by a 5 the future for in your band, Yabanam Bonyam. Now, meaning a Bessia opinion, Yaka the Christopher Nope, and Monason. To mean opinion, yet the edge, now, or call Nunam, Medifra, a dying each. To mediate you on a bin, maybe ban or 6 nanas, nanny, Christopher was the way could grab on it, or one. No one maximum phone. I'm a friend of Papa Day. What a Christopher Graph, or control should so young pan.
His family members have prepared the funeral posters already. One of the survivors of this incident, a 15-year-old, speaks about the event leading to this debacle.
Some a to be, I am super no giant soon tonight. It does be 25. No, it does be, but as what in a buy and before being quiet and sana. In the second bad now, but fire coil. No giant see, I'm not a see. It's near to me a jolly buy, but I think about penny. I may a jolly one, I'm not a cravat. Says I know you, say I quite you too much. It's yes, you call a jolly. Obimba, Obim for school. Obim for school, Nadia and I book with jolly into head. Into the berry jolly, Sunday berry jolly. Into the Musa Sunday waiting. I'm fine, cry.
Police at APAM say they are investigating to ascertain why the teenagers went to the beach despite the restrictions placed on the operations of beaches as a result of the COVID-19 protocols. Family members and community folk here are distraught. They are broken and inconsolable. The lives of their sons and daughters have been snuffed out, and the day many bid their parents goodbye and told them they were going to play and would return. As it turned out, they never returned. Kwekwe's son is a family member. He struggles putting his thoughts together. Some are yet to look for the whereabouts of their children. We began searching for them. We retrieved 2 bodies and then 5 bodies. And after that, we went ahead and we still could not find our relative. We continued our search and we are still searching. Chief fisherman for APAM, Nana Kobna Kayoko, says they are still pouring libation and hoping they would get all bodies retrieved. He does not rule out superstition. We have been performing some rites. We are still performing more. We are able to ascertain the total number of people that are feared. We need to pour libation to prevent the recurrence of such an unfortunate incident. The 3 survivors in this accident, who are currently recuperating at the APAM hospital, have given indication there could be more bodies in the belly of the sea. The MP for Gomoa West, Richinjan Mensah, is shocked about the development and has put in place a task force.
Now they have something they call the Sunday beaches or Sunday special. So there's a ban on that. And I also called attention. I came to the next community and I was informed that such announcements have been made again. So as it stands now, I didn't expect that anyone will go to the beach, because after what I saw about 2 weeks ago, the announcement was made. Last week, nobody went to the beach. So this week, we're also not expecting anyone to also be at the beach. But unfortunately, we only woke up this morning to hear that some youths organize themselves. So the immediate measure is that we're actually teaming up with the police and also with the fishermen, that a local task force should be put in place immediately.
While some of the bodies have been identified, others are yet to be identified, and the police are asking people whose sons and daughters have gone out and are yet to return to contact them. Central Regional Minister Designate Justina Marigold Hassan is visiting victims and bereaved families at APAM. Richard Kwejenya Akon, Joy News, Cape Coast.
You're live on Joy News today. Now let's take you back to Parliament, where the House is currently debating the President's State of the Nation address. Currently speaking is the Member of Parliament for Etiwa West. The Speaker of Parliament, Albans Mana Kingsford Backbin, is addressing the House. Let's join the feed now.
I'm just drawing your attention
yes, Mr. Speaker.
to the import
yes, Mr.
of the order.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
That it goes beyond just breach of ordinary order.
Yes.
This one deals with contempt or breach of privilege.
Yes.
So when you refer to it and you are able to substantiate it,
yes,
it is a matter I have to refer to a committee.
Yes.
That is the essence.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, so
and would you permit me
you can continue.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my colleague on the other side is saying that the current health minister misled the House. And Mr. Speaker, I can say on authority that government, through Ministry of Finance, granted financial clearance of more than 83,000. So the minister is not lying. We indeed, more than 83,000, and we indeed made sure that all the financial clearance was utilized, Mr. Speaker. So we have evidence. My colleague on the other side is misleading the House. Again, my colleague said that we had securitized a GET fund to the Chinese for 10 years. We were in this house and we brought this to this house. We never did anything like that. It's rather with the local banks that we have securitize the flows of GET fund. So I just want to put it out here that it is never with the Chinese, but it's rather with the local banks, helping to strengthen the local banks and let the local banks also grow so that we can improve on the economy. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, please take your time, read the standing orders carefully, try to appreciate them and apply them accordingly. What she did is just to disagree with the perspective in which you are coming from. And so you have to take that on board, but she will have the opportunity to put across her perspective and her interpretation of those figures or submissions that were made here and other approved or disapproved by the House. She will also be looking at the budget figures that you are referring to, the data, and then she will also make her submission. It's not a matter that I can refer to the Privileges Committee, but it's something that should guide you in your submissions. So, Honourable Member, you may continue.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. My honourable colleague has even compounded the confusion. The Minister for Health gave us 90,000. The Deputy Finance Minister is now talking about 83,000. And the President is talking about 100,000. So which is which? And we are saying that when you recruit, they must be paid. That is why they need clearance from you. And that is why you provide in your budget to be able to pay them plus the numbers. But the figures here does not support the argument you are advancing. And that is a fact. Mr. Speaker, I was talking about the purchase of helicopters. The President did mention, as one of the achievements, that they have purchased 3 helicopters for the Ghana Police Service. 3. And same is stated in the 2020 budget. Paragraph 202, we have purchased 567 vehicles, 3 helicopters for the police. Mr. Speaker, where are the helicopters? Who among them can help us to trace the whereabouts of these helicopters? Where are they? Where are they? Now they are telling me to open our eyes. Look at the government people, those in government. They can show us the whereabouts of these helicopters. Yet you keep on talking everywhere. You have purchased 3 helicopters. 3 helicopters. Where are they?
No response. No response.
Even the majority leader, he doesn't know. He doesn't know the whereabouts of these helicopters. That is a fact. I know him. He doesn't know. Honorable Foyer is quiet. He doesn't know. If he knew, he would have been on his feet long ago.
Yes, Majority Leader.
The Speaker.
Honourable members, this is not a musical theatre. Please. Please. What happened yesterday, I don't want to talk about it. Don't turn Parliament into a playground. I'm not going to tolerate that at all. Please, Majority Leader. Majority Leader.
The Speaker, you have stopped the time from running against my colleague. We gave him 25 minutes. He spoke in for 26 minutes, 24 seconds.
Honorable Majority Leader, I am in control.
Mr. Speaker,
I have taken away the interruptions. I gave the member who moved the motion 25 minutes. He spoke for less than 25 minutes. Nobody interrupted him. And so I'm taking note of what is happening. And when you give somebody 25 minutes and the interruptions take 5 minutes, definitely you have to make 45 minutes. So I'm taking note of it because the IT department has done a good job. And you can follow it right up from the start, the second up to the end. You can follow it. So, Majority Leader, I am in control. Don't worry about that. You go on.
Mr. Speaker, the point I'm making is, as I'm speaking now, interrupting, you have stopped the time. So it's 26:24. Anytime there's any interruption, you stop it. And we look at it. I was just saying that he's inviting me into this, and I'm refusing to go on that base.
You're live on Joy News today. Now, the Convention People's Party, CPP, has said that the president's claim there was no food shortage in 2020 is inaccurate. They released a statement after the address yesterday, and it was signed by General Secretary Nana Ajantia, who pointed out that food shortages in rice, maize, and poultry in 2020 showed a contrary view to Mr. Akufo-Addo's claim. Now, the president said the abundance of foodstuffs in markets is a testament to the success of the flagship Planting for Food and Jobs program, but they are questioning these claims, and we've been joined via telephone by Ms. Jantia, who would explain this further. Thanks for joining us, ma'am. What is this contrary view you hold to the president's statement?
Which one? Which of this?
On the Planting for Food and Jobs program's success. He said there's no food shortage.
Oh, certainly there was food shortage, and I mean, even the prices of these commodities went up high. We were also importing a lot of foodstuffs, a lot of agricultural products. And now I'm talking as a woman who goes to the market. When you go to the market and you buy tomatoes, they will tell you this is from Burkina Faso, which is expensive. And there was a time that you couldn't even get tomatoes from Ghana. And I'm talking about the market experience. At Medina Market, I went there. It was so expensive, tomatoes, corn, and all that. They said it was imported. If there was a food glut, why then were we importing food? And the party holds a contrary view. And we've done our research to that effect, that the prices of commodities, you know, with the CPP, we are our heart is very close to agriculture. And remember all the state farms that were established in those states and all the support that the CPP gave to farmers brigade and all that. So we are very close to agriculture, and agriculture is our heartbeat, because when the people get food to eat, they are healthy. And it also creates jobs for these farmers who spend most of their time tilling the land for us to be fed. So our research also, I mean, we did some mystery shopping, we did some research, and this thing came up that there was import to supplement the local production of agricultural produce.
Okay, now, Mr. Ato, you've been joined via Zoom by a content manager at ISOCO, which is an agricultural research organization, Francis A.J. Danso. Mr. A.J. Danso, was there a food shortage in 2020? Of course, we do know that prices went up anyway. You have numbers published from last year to show that. Is that indicative of a food shortage?
Thank you. I wouldn't say that there was a food shortage, as in the word that you go to the market and then you wouldn't get commodities to buy. Because prior to 2020, for some periods within the year, we most of the time go to our neighbors for some commodities to come and augment the ones that we have. And 2020 wasn't any different from the previous years.
So what caused, so your argument then is that we can't say that the shortage caused importation because we've been importing for years, from time immemorial?
Yes.
What caused the increase in prices then?
If you recall, 2020, even up to date, we are dealing with the coronavirus pandemic, which during its initial stages within the country from March 2020 till about May, June, we as a country didn't really know how to handle the kind of news that we were hearing from outside and all that. And so people were in a panic mood, And so anytime things happen outside the shores of Ghana, people are afraid. Traders took advantage of that. It caused some kind of panic buying within the system. And so from March till about May, you realize that prices were extremely high compared to previous years. But during our production period, from August, September, up to about October, prices were quite stable on the market. And then we went into the festive period, which of course we also saw some price increases. For that of last year, there were issues with maize because a lot of the poultry, people within the poultry industry were finding difficulty getting yellow maize to prepare feed and then feed their animals. And so it also brought about its own shocks within on the market.
Yes, and I remember last year it was reported that a license had to be issued for the importation of yellow maize. Is it the case that perhaps there was a shortfall in production and that is why maize was hard to come by on the market, which also caused an increase in the prices of chicken?
Yes, by virtue of the fact that a license was issued means that there were some form of shortfalls within the volumes that we had, and they had to bring in the yellow maize. You know, mostly they use yellow maize instead of the white maize, and then anytime there are shortages, then they try to use the white maize. And so if they import, it means that the volumes that they require, we do not have it, or the market is not giving it to them, because if they do, then it's going to cause it is going to cause some challenges within the market, and then will cause difficulty for consumers.
So there was a shortage in maize in particular?
What I would say is that, yes, there were some challenges in terms of getting the volumes that are required for the poultry industry.
Right. Francis Ejedan, so I wish I could get some clarity on that, on whether or not you classify those challenges as a shortage in supply of yellow maize.
So there were shortage for the supply to the poultry industry, because apart from the poultry industry that experienced that, you realize that on the normal market, those who were buying maize for their kenke and other things were getting it. And so for the poultry industry, when you check the volumes that they take out of their production, it's huge. And so anytime that there are shortages or they can't get the required volumes, they always go to the government to request so that they are allowed to bring in, to make sure that it stabilizes their production.
Are you saying that this also happens year in, year out? Because that's not the impression that we've had over the years.
You wouldn't find that happening in, year out. But within the last 5 years, this is not the first time that it has happened.
Francis Ejedan, so thank you very much for joining us. He's from Isoko. Let me wrap up with Nanaya Jantia. So the word from Isoko, the research organization, Madam Jantia, is that the importation happens over the years. Yes, there were some challenges in the supply of yellow maize, in particular to the poultry industry. But surely, we can't base on that and say that the president's entire statement was inaccurate, can we?
Hello?
Great. I don't know if you heard the conversation.
I didn't hear. You said something right. I didn't hear.
My question was simply summarizing what Mr. Ejedan was saying.
No, but Peter, the point is that as he was speaking, I was listening carefully. There was some form of shortage. I mean, from his own assertion, that even the poultry farmers didn't get what they wanted. Do you get me? So even if we go down the lane, I mean, I remember tomatoes around October, November. I bought some tomatoes, and the lady told me that they were importing from Burkina Faso, and they are using the safer to buy it.
Which is an annual affair, which happened before Planting for Food and Jobs and in earlier years of Planting for Food and Jobs. It's
no,
not
I'm talking about
new.
2020.
Yeah, and the point being raised by Mr. Jadan is that it happens every year. We import tomatoes every year.
It was so clear. I mean, it was clear that there was some form of shortage. If it happens every year, it is okay. But steadily, it means there was some form of shortage, which was augmented by some import. Because if truly we have a glut, why should anybody spend money to go and bring in food from outside? Once you have a glut in your country, you rather export to the neighboring countries, of which our products are better than most of the neighboring countries, and of which most people like the Ghanaian agricultural products. So if truly there is a glut, if you have a glut, why should you spend money and put pressure on your local currency to import food?
Ania Jantua, thank you very much for joining us. She's General Secretary of the CPP. Thank you as well, Content Manager for ISOCO and a Greek research organization, Francis A.J. Danso. Before we go for business, an 84-year-old woman has been displaced following a rainstorm that caused havoc at Avetakope in the Whole West District of the Volta region where she lives. Paulina Doe, who is physically challenged, has been compelled to convert her weak kitchen into a sleeping space. She is appealing to the general public for help.
Paulina Doe has spent her entire life living in Avetakpo, a satellite community in the Whole West District. According to her, she is childless, hence relies on some relatives and community members for survival. The 84-year-old lived in this madhouse and makes use of this building as her kitchen.
I am disabled and childless. I can't feed if relatives and community members do not provide me with food. I am unable to farm due to my condition.
Unfortunately, a rainstorm in early February caused damage to the building. She was only able to take this bag, which contains her clothing, while other belongings got trapped in the collapsed building. Paulina was left with no option but to convert her small kitchen into a multi-purpose room. It is a kitchen during the day and becomes a bedroom during the night.
My house was destroyed last month by a storm. I can't do anything because I am disabled. My belongings are trapped in the room.
Some other residents were also displaced by the storm. More than 20 houses suffered severe damages due to the storm. It was indeed a catastrophe here in Avetakpo.
Of February, in the evening, I was called by one of the citizens from the town, Avetakpo. I informed me that there was a heavy rainstorm which destroyed a lot of houses, including mine. So I informed my chief and the Queen Mother that this is what is happening in the town.
I am suffering. My house has collapsed. I will be happy if I can be provided a befitting building and a kitchen.
Paulina and the other affected residents are hoping help would come in earnest to help them to reconstruct and roof their houses, as it has been difficult to get a suitable place to lay their heads. Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News, Avetakpo.
You're still live on Joy News today. Coming up in business, taxes could be reviewed upwards in the 2021 budget to shore up revenues lost to the COVID-19 pandemic. Details with Daryl Kwao after this. Stay with us.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Business. My name is Daryl Kwao. Taxes could be reviewed upwards in the 2021 budget to make up for revenue lost to the COVID-19 pandemic. That's the hint Joy Business is getting ahead of the presentation of the budget on Friday. Yes, more.
The specific tax items that government has agreed to review, as well as the possible new ones it plans to introduce, remain unclear. But what Joy Business is learning is that government is looking at ways to finance the budget deficit, which has seen significant spikes as a result of the pandemic-related expenditure for last year. All these fiscal proposals that are on the table are aimed at fast-tracking the process that will get the country back to the fiscal consolidation process. But with the deployment of the vaccines, it's now clear that government is on the path to carefully manage the spread of COVID-19. The budget will therefore come up with some programs aimed at fast-tracking the recovery of the economy this year and going into 2022. Another option that the budget may be looking at, if the tax path is not agreed, could be borrowing. However, it is the belief of government that maybe the time has come for Ghanaians to effectively contribute to the development of the economy. After weeks of speculation, it has now been confirmed that the majority leader in Parliament, Osagie Mensah-Bonsu, will present the budget come Friday, the 12th of March. What remains uncertain is if he will lead the post-budget interviews and debate in Parliament as well. Joy Business understands that several initiatives will be announced aimed at stimulating growth in all aspects of the economy. So expect a budget that will be targeted at full recovery of the economy post-COVID-19.
In other news, Chief Executive of the Chamber of Mines, Suleiman Okoni, has tasked investors to begin exploring mining opportunities in the northern sector. He says apart from iron ore at Shani in the Tatale district of the northern region, it is possible that there are other several mineral resources that can be explored. Mr. Okoni made this appeal when he led members of the chamber to visit the northern region and to engage with some stakeholders.
A lot of opportunities. My geography is not the best. Ahmed is the geographer, but it tells me Shani is not too far away from here. Naturally, I'm sure we'll have some other mineral resources which are not developed. One thing, for example, we can do is to work with the Geological Survey. Ahmed, are you there? Yes. Geological Survey Authority, and say, look, we seem to be having a very good collaboration with the people of Namumba. Can you check the geological map of Ghana? Mineral resources we have in this area and see how best we can attract investors to come and start exploration. That's the least we can do, the minimum we can do, to say bringing our brains to make sure that whatever God has actually endowed the people of Bembela with comes to the fore, attracting investors to come. And once they start the process, it's going to transform the economy of Namumba. Because it is not all exploration which yields commercial production. Our hope and prayer that even as we are able to attract more investment to come in. And here when I'm talking about investment, I'm not talking foreign direct investment. I'm talking about people like you and I, people who may have deeper pockets than we are, but they see the potential in a number and they can start investing. It doesn't have to be gold. It may be lithium, it may be manganese, it may be whatever. That's the minimum we can do, find out and ascertain what we have, and then out of that, we can start mapping a development plan. Because as we all know, mining is not just like digging a hole and extracting, but there's so much developmental opportunities around that. And without knowing what you have, you will not be in a position to prepare for its harnessing. So the first step is getting to know what you have.
All right, there's more business news coming up at the top of the hour on the marketplace. Sports is up next. You stay tuned.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the sports segment with me, Oriku Wampofo. We do start off with our first story where President Nana Akufo-Addo says his government is committed to supporting the development of football. The president made these comments when the Black Satellites presented the AFCON Under-20 trophy to him at the Jubilee House on Tuesday.
The national Under-20 team
paid a courtesy call on the president of the country, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to present the trophy they won in Mauritania. The success was the first time Ghana has won the competition in 12 years. The last time the country did was in 2009 in Rwanda. The president of the country said he is committed to providing all the necessary support for the game in the country.
It's obvious what my responsibility is, and that is to give sports in our country, especially football, the maximum support of the government. And we're going to try and do that. We're going to do our best to do that. Because without the support, it's difficult to go forward in any endeavor in life, especially in sports. We've seen what the modest support that was given to you, how it has played itself out. So that's my responsibility. And I want to assure you that I'm going to do my very best to discharge that responsibility as effectively as possible. Big achievement. And it's the first of what I hope is going to be many, many, many cups for us. I want all of you to be very proud of playing for Ghana and to be prepared to step up anytime you're selected to play for Ghana. And more importantly, to prepare yourselves to be part of the Black Stars down the road.
It's been 37 years since the Black Stars last won a trophy. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo said this current crop of Black Satellite players is the nucleus of the next generation of the senior national team.
It's time that the Black Stars won the African Championship again. Long overdue. And you have the nucleus. We've proved that you have the nucleus of the side that can do it. So the whole world will be looking at you from now on. So in terms of training and discipline and making sure that you keep fit, please, don't let this one first success go to your head. You have to stay firmly committed to all the things that your trainers and the fitness and the technical team tell you. The discipline especially is so very important. It's the discipline that will keep you out of injury, which I know as a footballer is the biggest problem confronting every footballer. But with discipline and the determination that you've shown in winning this cup.
The Satellites in December 2020 became champions of Wafu Zone B when they defeated Burkina Faso in the final last year.
Meanwhile, Ket Okreku, who's the president of the Ghana Football Association, said that Ghana football will rub shoulders with the best teams in the world with the right amount of investment.
President of the Ghana Football Association, Ket Okreku, called on the government of the country to throw their weight behind football to ensure continued success.
Ghana football has a lot of potential. Indeed, the investment levels that this team has seen has resulted in the victory that we are all cherishing and celebrating today. But it is also true that if association football gets absolute and maximum support, not only from government, but also from the public sector, football can take Ghana into millions of homes. Football, perhaps, can also assist us in our hospitality, in our tourism strategy. Football, perhaps, is the most powerful tool that touches every heart in the world. Football brings everybody together. And it's our hope that your avowed mission of ensuring that all our national team coaches are paid monthly will see the light of the day. Our coaches are ready to go the extra mile to bring glory. Our players are ready. The management is ready.
Ket Okreku is confident that winning the Under-20 African Cup of Nations is not going to be a one-off. He said, with continued support from the government of the country, the GFA will put Ghana football at the highest pedestal.
Mr. President, I remember very well one important question that you posed to me. And your question was very simple. When would we start to bring back the trophies to Ghana? When would we start to love our sport called football once again? Mr. President, our appearance here is to give you a small taste of what the future holds for Ghana football. And our belief is that with the right level of support, just like we received on the journey to Benin and to Mauritius, this will just be the tip of the iceberg. And Ghana will bring back the love, Ghana will win more trophies, and Ghana will be at the apex of not only African football, but world football.
The Black Satellites of Ghana won the Under-20 African Cup of Nations Championship after beating Uganda 2-0 in the final.
Well, that was President of the Ghana Football Association, Keto Kraku. But that's how we wrap up the sports here. My name is Oriku Wampofo. Up next is World News.
Good afternoon, welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News today. Now, gospel musician Nanaya Opwachi, better known by stage name MOG Music, says he doesn't mind working with someone who is into LGBTIQ+. The singer told Choice Prime's Ibrahim Bembako that people in the LGBTQ+ community are like every other human being and must be loved rather than being victimized.
I don't mind working with an LGBT person. There are people that need to you need to show them love. If we are saying that what they are doing is wrong, the only way we can correct them is through love. But when we despise them and push them away, it's not going to bring any change. They'll still keep on doing what they are doing. So when you show them love and you preach the message of Christ as it is, the original content as it is to them, it brings them to light and to bear that, look, probably what we are doing is wrong, or we need to do it this way rather, this is the right way and all that. So you show them love, you teach them the right way, and before you know it, they change.
Now, musician Kelvin Boy, in an interview with Joy News, has revealed his feud with his former label boss, Stonebwoy, has been beneficial to him in all aspects. He told Doreen View he has no hate for his former label boss.
Kelvin Boy, I gotta show you love. When that thing happened is when I blew up, is when I got money, is when I saw money, is when people wanted to see me. When that thing happened till now, that made me Kelvin Boy. Haven't you realized?
Yeah, I'm realizing that. So yes. You think that it affected you positively?
Yeah, but maybe in their minds is what, because people will always get the wrong perception of people. Keep that perception. I'm cool.
You're cool. So you're not worried about the fact that people go like, oh, maybe Kelvin Boy.
The artists worry about what people are going to do and what people are going to say. People are going to think a lot, and it weighs us down.
What's your relationship like with Stonebwoy at the moment?
The status is not really necessary, I think, now, because if I love Stonebwoy, it should still be in my heart. If he loves me still, it should be in his heart still. What you come and say is like, oh boy, I'm that. It's that, it's not that. So I rather let it stay in my heart. That's why I cleared the tattoo.
Okay.
I don't talk about it, but because you asked, and these days I'm very honest and real. It comes real. Yeah. That's why I cleared it. I prefer it staying in my heart.
Yeah.
Make you never forget, say now you there for mine. Baby, no be lie, now you there for mine. Every day and night, now you there for mine. Every second of my time, girl, you always on my mind. Now you there for mine. Baby, no be lie, now you there for mine. Every day and night, now you there for mine. Every second of my time, girl, you always on my mind. Now you there.
Wow. Beautiful song there.
Beautiful song. He's a great artist, isn't he?
Yes, yes. And I'm glad that he's saying, or he's coming out to say that he has no hate for Stonebwoy and everything is all right.
I think sometimes we add up to this.
Yeah, we create all the bars and all that. Yeah.
Anyway, thanks, Becky, for bringing us Showbiz.
Anytime.
This is where we wrap up this bulletin of Joy News today. My name is Daniel Daze. We're back tomorrow with another great bulletin, but stay on this channel. Up next is The Marketplace.